Resuming debate, the Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Crown Indigenous Relations.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I will be splitting my time with my friend from Hull Aylmer. Do my best. Mr. Speaker, I rise in my place to speak to this motion and to respectfully acknowledge that I do so while standing on the traditional territory of the Algonquin peoples. And I'd like to begin by assuring the House that our government is working hard to find a peaceful solution so that travelers will be able to take via rail again, workers can return to their jobs, consumers can be assured supplies of essential goods will be in stock, and businesses can again count on the logistics systems that keeps our economy moving. I also want to acknowledge and welcome the letter from the RCMP in British Columbia that they intend to withdraw from the outpost. We're well aware that these protests are having a significant impact on Canadians, and my thoughts are with all those who are affected, including those who are protesting. The right to protest is something that is enshrined in the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. All people have a right to protest in a peaceful manner. Prior to being elected as a member of Parliament, I've taken part in many protests in my life. In fact, my first time to Ottawa was to protest, and I have on many occasions in my professional life defended the right of people to protest. Quand nous enlevons le droit des gens à protester.
People have the right to protest peacefully.
With Indigenous peoples, all Indigenous peoples, both who are opposing the Coastal GasLink and those who support it. The Wet'suwet'en peoples have an inherent right to self-determination and have a right to decide on who speaks for them. The matter of leadership with the Wet'suwet'en people is for their nation to decide and not for us to dictate. Reconciliation is a journey and takes a great deal of effort and will by all those who are involved. Reconciliation does not take place overnight, Mr. Speaker. It is an accumulation of years, decades, generations of incidents, actions, and attitudes. For 500 years, Indigenous peoples in this land have faced discrimination in every aspect of their lives. Now it is only through meaningful engagement that those who have been ignored and disrespected for far too long can find a path forward. Canada's long and painful history with colonialism, the legacy of residential schools, the immeasurable loss of language and culture, and the displacement of lands and ways of life for 153 years have rendered Indigenous peoples in Canada as second-class citizens in their own lands. Cela entraîne une perte de gouvernance des gens.
People have control over their lives and their lifestyles.
Government are absolutely determined to move forward with reconciliation, but this journey will have challenges and obstacles. The subject of the debate today is one such example, Mr. Speaker. We will face moments in this path towards reconciliation where our collective and historical failures are highlighted. This is one such moment. The challenge for us is to address these moments peacefully without furthering harm, learn from them, and work towards moving forward towards self-determination that will enable Indigenous peoples to control their destiny. Each day we make choices that either help to reconcile or contribute to division. The motion presents us with such a choice today, Mr. Speaker. Now is not the time for action that would divide and inflame. Now is the time, as the Prime Minister has said, for creating a space for peaceful, honest dialogue with willing partners. We believe that addressing this issue, we are given an opportunity to close the gap in healing long-standing wounds. We believe it is essential to address the crisis in a constructive and peaceful way. In this debate, we need to acknowledge the importance of dialogue based on respect, cooperation, and the recognition of rights. Perhaps most importantly, Mr. Speaker, in this dialogue, we must also learn to listen. We need to look beyond simply getting the trains running and see this for what it is, an opportunity to make progress on the journey towards transformative change. Mr. Speaker, as the Minister of Indigenous Services said last night, one of the steps necessary to achieve peaceful progress in an unreconciled country is to continue that open dialogue at a very highest levels of government based on a nation-to-nation and government-to-government relationship. This is what has guided the actions of our government over the past few days. But I would like to remind the House of the views brought forward by the National Chief, Perry Bellegarde, who said, and I quote, "I think we need to be patient and see what dialogue will bring. Our people are taking action because they want to see action. And when they see positive action by the key players, when they see a commitment to real dialogue and to address this difficult situation, people will respond in a positive way." I believe his words underscore the upside potential of this crisis. If we can resolve this situation peacefully and with mutual respect, we help build trust, and that trust, Mr. Speaker, can help shape a stronger Canada for tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, I would suggest to the House that resolving this situation in a peaceful and respectful way will help provide a foundation for continued dialogue and mutual respect that in Canada's long-term interest for society and our economy. And let me conclude, Mr. Speaker, by saying that in the final analysis, it is in Canada's best interest in the short and long term to keep the discussions going in search of a peaceful and long-lasting solution. A solution, moreover, that may put us further down the true road to reconciliation. I urge all honourable members to vote against this motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.